Imagine that a friend offers you a gift. He smiles as he hands it to you, and you, without thinking twice, accept it with gratitude. After all, gift is always something positive, right? But what if this object carried a hidden energy capable of attracting bad luck, financial problems, and conflicts? Throughout history, different cultures and spiritual traditions have warned about certain items that should not be accepted. In Buddhism, it is believed that certain objects can disrupt the flow of positive energy in a person's life, bringing unexpected consequences. Knives can symbolize cuts in relationships, old mirrors can retain negative memories, and empty wallets can represent financial scarcity. Many ignore these warnings and only realize too late the impacts these gifts have had on their lives. Is it a coincidence, or is there something deeper behind these beliefs? Today, we will reveal the 8 gifts you should never accept, and the reason why they can influence your luck and well-being. The last item on the list is the most dangerous, and there is a good chance that you have already accepted it without knowing the risks. Spiritual energy and symbolism of objects. Since ancient times, objects have carried more than just their physical form. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and the Chinese, believed that material items could contain the energy of the people who possess them. In Buddhism, this belief is even deeper. Everything in the universe is interconnected, and each object, whether a gift or an inheritance, can affect the spiritual balance of the one who receives it. The idea that objects carry energy is not recent. In the Tang Dynasty, in China 618907 AD, it was common for warriors to avoid accepting weapons used by defeated combatants, as they believed these weapons were imbued with the energy of failure and fear. In Japan, the samurai followed a similar code, known as Bushido, refusing swords from dishonored warriors to avoid absorbing their disgrace. Buddhism teaches that everything around us influences our mental and spiritual state. The teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, emphasize the importance of living in a harmonious environment free from negative influences. This directly connects to the idea that certain objects, when received, can disrupt the natural flow of life and hinder the pursuit of inner balance. In modern psychology, this theory is reflected in the concept of associative memory. Studies suggest that human beings create emotional bonds with objects, linking them to past experiences and feelings. If an object has been associated with suffering, fear, or failure, its mere presence can evoke negative emotions, even without the person realizing it. The question is, how many gifts have you received without questioning the story they carry? In the following topics, we will analyze which objects can be more dangerous and how their energies can influence your life in unexpected ways. 8. Sharp objects. Knives and scissors. Imagine receiving an elegant knife or a finely crafted set of scissors as a gift. At first, it seems like a useful gesture, perhaps even sophisticated. However, various cultures and spiritual traditions warn that sharp objects carry deep symbolism and can bring unexpected impacts to the lives of those who receive them. In Buddhism, it is believed that everything is interconnected, and the objects we accept affect our energy flow. Knives and scissors represent cuts not only in the literal sense, but also on the emotional and spiritual level. This idea is not exclusive to Buddhist thought. In ancient China, during the Ming Dynasty 1368-1644, it was customary to avoid giving knives as wedding gifts, as they were believed to cut the bond between the couple. In Japan, the tradition of homage symbolic gifts also avoids sharp objects, as they can symbolize breakups in relationships. Feng Shui, the Chinese practice of harmonizing environments, reinforces this concept, arguing that sharp items generate a type of aggressive energy called sha kai, which can lead to arguments, conflicts, and estrangement between people. Many stories over time associate family fights and financial losses with the act of receiving blades as gifts. Psychology also suggests that the symbolism of an object can affect a person's mental state. When someone receives a gift that represents separation, even unconsciously, they may develop a sense of distance in close relationships. But if, by chance, you have already received a gift like this, there is a way to neutralize its influence. Many traditions teach that, upon receiving a sharp object, one should give the donor a coin as a way to buy it. This gesture transforms the gift into a symbolic transaction, preventing the bond between the two from being severed. Have you ever accepted a knife, a blade, or scissors without knowing the impact it could have? Now that you know what they represent, perhaps it's time to reflect on the gifts that come your way. 7. Empty wallets and purses, the symbolism of scarcity. Receiving a wallet or a purse as a gift may seem like a gesture of consideration. After all, they are useful objects in daily life and often associated with financial organization. However, there is a detail that can turn this gift into a symbol of scarcity and economic difficulties. Receiving an empty dot in many spiritual and cultural traditions, including Buddhism, the energy we put into objects influences how they act in our lives. The wallet represents more than just a simple accessory, it symbolizes the flow of money and prosperity. Therefore, when offered empty, it carries the idea of lack, conveying, even if unconsciously, an energetic pattern of financial difficulties. This belief is not recent. In ancient China, it was believed that qi, the vital energy that flows through everything, needed a channel to manifest. When a wallet was offered empty, it meant that the flow of money could be blocked, making the recipient's financial life more unstable. In medieval Europe, nobles often gifted their heirs with pouches containing a gold coin, ensuring they would never face scarcity. From a psychological perspective, studies on financial behavior show that symbols and rituals affect people's mindset regarding money. Small details, such as always carrying a bill in your wallet, can reinforce a sense of abundance, while an empty wallet can create a feeling of financial insecurity. If someone has ever given you an empty wallet, there is a simple way to reverse that energy. Immediately place a bill or coin inside it. This symbolizes the activation of financial flow and prevents scarcity from settling in. This practice is common in various cultures, where it is believed that the first money placed inside a wallet defines the energy it will attract. Could it be that, without realizing it, you have an empty wallet stored at home? Maybe it's time to ensure that the flow of prosperity is always present in your life. 6. Used clothes, the energy of previous owner soften. Receiving clothes from someone can seem like a loving gesture. Inherited pieces from family members, second-hand gifts, or even valuable finds in thrift stores are common in the lives of many people. However, in Buddhism and various spiritual traditions, there is a strong belief that clothes carry the energy of their previous owners. In feudal Japan, samurai believed that their garments absorbed their honor, courage, as well as their fears and defeats. Therefore, when a samurai fell in battle, his clothes were not reused, they were burned to prevent the energy of his death from transferring to another person. This tradition still persists in parts of Asia, where it is common for deceased people's clothes to be donated only after undergoing purification rituals. Buddhism teaches that every object around us contains memories and subtle vibrations. Clothes, being in direct contact with the body, absorb not only smells and stains, but also emotions and mental states. If a piece was worn during periods of sadness, illness, or difficulties, it can retain that energy, influencing whoever wears it afterward. Science also suggests that objects can act as emotional anchors. Studies show that people often associate clothing items with specific moments in their lives. A jacket worn during a difficult period can, unconsciously, evoke negative feelings when worn again. Does this mean that all used clothes bring negative energies? Not necessarily. If they are inherited from someone who had a happy life, or were given with positive intentions, they can carry good vibrations. The secret is to cleanse these pieces before using them. Many traditions recommend washing them with coarse salt, leaving them in the sun, or even burning them if there is a strange feeling when using them. If you have ever received second-hand clothes, it's worth asking yourself, how do you feel wearing them? If any piece brings a feeling of weight or discomfort, perhaps it's time to purify it or let it go. 5. Religious and spiritual artifacts. The energy of beliefs. Receiving a spiritual object as a gift can seem something sacred and positive. Statues of deities, amulets, rosaries, reliquaries, and religious symbols are often given with good intentions. However, Buddhism and other spiritual traditions warn that these items carry much deeper energies than most people realize. Since antiquity, it has been believed that sacred objects absorb the vibrations of their owners and the environment to which they belong. In the 8th century, during the expansion of Buddhism in Tibet, monks carefully guarded their spiritual relics, as they believed that the energy of a practitioner could directly influence those who came into contact with the object. In Japan, Buddhist temples regularly clean statues and artifacts to prevent the accumulation of unwanted energies. The problem arises when these items are received without knowing their origin. A Buddhist statue may have been taken from a temple in a disrespectful context. An amulet may have been imbued with someone else's intentions, and a rosary may have been used by someone in moments of suffering or illness. These energetic charges can be transferred to the person receiving the gift. Moreover, there is the issue of spiritual connection. Buddhism teaches that each path is unique, and that the use of religious objects should be done with awareness. Accepting an item from a belief different from your own can create internal conflict or even an energetic imbalance. If you have already received a gift like this, it is ideal to purify it before using it. In many traditions, smudging with herbs, such as sage or palo santo, helps to cleanse the object's energy. Another option is to leave it exposed to sunlight or moonlight to renew its vibration. Do you know where the spiritual artifacts in your house came from? Maybe it's time to reflect on the energy they carry and whether they are truly aligned with your spiritual path. 4. Antique mirrors. Reflections of the past. Mirrors have always been shrouded in mystery. Since ancient times, many cultures have believed that they not only reflect the physical image, but also store energies and memories of the past. Receiving an antique mirror as a gift may seem like an elegant gesture, but according to various spiritual traditions, it can carry much more than just your reflection. In ancient China, during the Tang Dynasty 618-907 AD, mirrors were used in spiritual rituals to ward off evil spirits. In feudal Japan, samurai avoided looking into old mirrors because they believed they could see not only their reflection, but also fragments of their past lives. In the West, the superstition that breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck comes from the belief that mirrors have a connection to the soul of the person using them. In Buddhism, the mind is often compared to a mirror. A clean mirror reflects reality clearly, while a dusty mirror distorts the view. This metaphor applies to the concept of karma. If a mirror has carried the reflection of someone who has gone through suffering, sadness, or difficulties, it is possible that their energy has been stored in it. Science also suggests that the environment we live in affects our emotional state. Research in neuroscience shows that objects around us can activate unconscious memories. A mirror that was present during moments of tension or pain can, when used by another person, evoke inexplicable sensations of discomfort or anxiety. If you have received a second-hand mirror or inherited one, there are ways to neutralize any accumulated energy. Many traditions recommend cleaning the surface with salt water, smudging with purifying herbs, and positioning it to reflect natural light, renewing its energy. Could the mirror you have at home have once belonged to someone with an unknown story? Maybe it's time to clean it, not just physically, but also energetically. 3. Clocks and time measuring items. The invisible countdown watches are common gifts, often given as a symbol of sophistication, punctuality, or commitment. However, in various cultures and spiritual traditions, giving someone a watch can have a much deeper and often negative meaning. In China, the expression, giving a watch, sounds similar to the phrase, sending to death, which is used to refer to the moment of someone's funeral. Therefore, many Chinese people believe that receiving a watch as a gift can symbolize the end of a cycle, the depletion of time, or even the approach of death. This belief is so strong that, in some places, giving a watch as a gift is seen as a harbinger of bad luck. In Japan, Zen philosophy teaches that the relationship with time should be balanced and fluid, without the obsession with deadlines and urgency. However, a clock can reinforce the notion of haste, scarcity, and limitation, leading to a state of mental anxiety. In Buddhism, the impermanence of life is one of the fundamental teachings. Everything is always changing, and excessive worry about time can drive away true inner peace. Besides the spiritual meaning, there is also the psychological impact. Studies on time perception show that being constantly surrounded by clocks can increase the feeling of stress, as the subconscious mind registers the passing seconds as a constant reminder of the passage of life. In work environments, for example, visible clocks can increase pressure on employees, making the routine more exhausting. If you have already received a watch as a gift and wish to neutralize any negative symbolism, there is a traditional method for this. Give the giver a coin, transforming the gift into a symbolic purchase, removing any associated negative connotation. Has the watch you received already influenced your perception of time and life? Maybe. It's a good time to reflect on how time is perceived and felt in your routine. 2. Broken or damaged objects. The symbolism of fragmentation. Receiving a broken object may seem harmless, but for many spiritual traditions, it symbolizes imbalance, stagnation, and even bad luck. In Buddhism and Eastern philosophies like Feng Shui, it is believed that everything around us influences our mental and emotional state. Objects in perfect condition represent harmony, while broken items reflect fragmentation and energetic blockages. Since ancient times, various cultures have avoided keeping damaged objects in their homes. In Japan, for example, the philosophy of kintsugi, the art of repairing broken ceramics with gold, teaches that if something breaks, it should be repaired visibly, as hiding or ignoring the imperfection can disrupt the natural flow of life. However, if an object cannot be restored, it should be discarded with respect. In Buddhism, there is a fundamental principle called anicca, which means impermanence. Everything is always changing and transforming. When someone accepts a broken gift, even without realizing it, they may be bringing into their life a symbol of something that is not complete or functional. This can affect not only the energy of the environment, but also the way the person faces challenges and opportunities. Modern psychology also suggests that disorganized environments or those filled with damaged objects can influence the mind, creating sensations of disorder and lack of control. Studies show that people who live surrounded by broken items tend to feel more overwhelmed and anxious, as the objects around them unconsciously reflect areas of their lives that are out of balance. If you have ever received a broken gift or kept damaged items out of sentimental attachment, it might be time to evaluate whether they truly contribute to your life. If it is something valuable, consider repairing it. If it cannot be restored, the best option may be to part with it with gratitude, making room for new energies and opportunities. How many broken objects do you have stored? Do they represent something that needs to be resolved in your life? Maybe it's time to reassess what truly deserves space around you. 1. Money, the hidden energy in bills and coins. Finally, the first position is, money is one of the most common gifts and, for many, one of the most practical. However, few people reflect on the energy it carries. In Buddhism and various spiritual traditions, it is believed that money is not just a medium of exchange, but also a transmitter of intentions, emotions, and even karmas of those who possessed it before. Since ancient times, civilizations understood that wealth was linked to the energy of abundance or scarcity. In ancient Egypt, priests performed rituals to purify coins before they were distributed. In imperial China, during the Qing dynasty, 1644-1912, merchants believed that accepting money from a bankrupt could bring difficulties to their own businesses. In Japan, some people still wash coins in temples to attract clean prosperity, free from negative influences. In Buddhism, there is an essential teaching about the relationship with material possessions, detachment. Money should neither be a burden nor an obsession, as both attitudes can create imbalance. The problem arises when the money received carries the anxiety, fear, or hidden intentions of the giver. Often, someone's financial difficulties can be unconsciously transferred through the money that circulates. Financial psychologists explain that the way we receive money can affect our relationship with it. If we accept an amount laden with guilt, debt, or despair, our subconscious mind can create blocks that hinder the flow of prosperity. If you have ever received money and felt that it brought unexpected difficulties, it might be time to reflect on its origin. To neutralize any negative charge, some practices include visualizing golden light over the bills and coins before using them, or even donating a small part of that amount for positive purposes, helping to transform the energy associated with it. Was the money you have received with pure intentions? Maybe it's time to review your relationship with prosperity and ensure that your abundance comes from sources aligned with your energy. Throughout history, objects have always been more than mere material items. They carry stories, symbolism, and energies that can influence the life of those who possess them. What seems like an innocent gift may, in fact, be laden with hidden intentions, ancient beliefs, and even vibrations that affect spiritual and emotional balance. Buddhism teaches us that everything we accept into our lives has an impact, even if subtle. Knives can represent cuts in important TIs. Empty wallets can suggest a blocked financial flow. Used clothes carry the memories of other people, while watches can symbolize an invisible countdown. Each gift carries a story, and ignoring that can bring unexpected consequences. If there is one thing that becomes clear when analyzing these objects, it is that we must be more selective about what we allow into our lives. Not every gift is a blessing. Accepting something without questioning its origin or symbolism can be the first step towards a cycle of difficulties, while consciously choosing what to keep close can completely transform our energy. Now, around you, how many of these items are already in your house? Has any gift you received brought unexpected changes? Maybe it's time to reconsider what you keep, what you give away, and above all, what you allow to be part of your journey. After all, small choices can define big changes.